What's different as far as I know it about this year is that they opened the application to any North Carolina choreographer, so it didn't have to be someone who was already associated with NCDF.
This year they did a blind panel review of the works submitted, so I saw that they were taking submissions, and I just sent in one of my previous works that I had choreographed and hoped for the best.
The piece that we will be performing was created last year as a follow-up piece to a piece entitled Suke, which was about the earthquake that struck Haiti in 2010. But Annatations, which the name of this piece that we'll be performing, is a follow-up to Suke. Suke means to shake. Annotation is the, well, basically it's about all the souls that were perished during the earthquake. They somehow found themselves in the realm of purgatory, having to undergo a final cleansing process before they move on to the final destination, which is God.
I was really captured by the dualities that were brought up in this novel of good and bad, right and wrong, chaos and structure, and hope and despair. And so I really worked with these dueling, conflicting ideas in this work.
The piece is very intimate. You know, they're kind of entangled in each other. There's a lot of partnering. There's a lot of contact. But I don't really see it as quote unquote a relationship piece. I think for me it's more about there are these two people who carve out a space for themselves where they can kind of exist.
I feel the process with losing dancers, gaining dancers, I think it really speaks volumes within this piece because that's life's transitions, that's life's how we journey, so things happen and you have to move from it. And I think with annotation being the fact that it's purgatory, we don't know what's going to happen, we don't know what's happened after the door, I guess, when we open that door, and I just feel that the process really speaks for what annotation is.
Mess is a solo that I'm premiering at ADF this summer, which is really exciting. Nobody has seen it except for my artistic collaborator, John Haas. And the two of us run a multimedia dance company together called Vector. We've done work together for years as two separate companies and are finally joining forces. So this also is kind of the premiere of our company, which is exciting.
I absolutely love being an artist here. I've had a chance, since I've lived here for most of my life, seeing the growth and seeing the waves of dance in this community, and now is a really exciting time to be here. A lot of people are moving to the area, a lot of people are creating work.
Here's what I love about Durham is that it is a scene, where we have an audience that is used to watching dance, and a huge part of that is attributed to ADF. And then also an audience that's really into experimental theater and music and cross-disciplinary stuff. I mean, I've been overwhelmed by the outpouring of support.
The community is fairly creative. You know, there's been some site-specific work and some outdoor work, and not just the kind of proscenium theater type presentation, because frankly that some of those proscenium style venues are too expensive for most of us.
Durham has grown tremendously with regard to dance, and we have ADF here in Durham that's actually been a powerhouse for the community.
My first time as a student at ADF was when I was in high school. It was in 1999. And then I've been a student and I've been an assistant, and then I worked on the blog here in 2011. So sporadically, I've always been a part of ADF, and now that the studio's open, I get to be a part of ADF year long.
The first time I was a student was 2005, which was right after I graduated from high school. And man, it was a shock. I mean, you come out of high school, you think you're at the top of your class, and you're good. It's just like, didn't get into anything. It was terrible, total damper. Like, oh, I'm terrible at this. How am I ever gonna do it? But it was a really great experience. And I ended up taking, I remember I took a contact improv class from Jen Bugin. It was the first contact class I ever took, and she totally blew my mind. And took a class from Paul Madison, and he came in with this attitude of, hey guys, I tried this thing in my living room and I can't do it, so I think we should work on it. And I think as a teacher now, looking back on sort of how my pedagogy has evolved, I can definitely attribute it to folks like that who I think taught a lot with a sense of humility and not authoritarianism, and saying, I'm learning with you.
Me personally, I was never here at ADF as a dancer. However, having been a company member with Palabolos, my involvement with ADF, I've always been on the stage performing here since 1996 when I joined Palabolos, and I've been coming to ADF as a performer. And looking back, I would have loved to have been a student here at ADF. I think it's a magical place. It changes lives. It's certainly, you get exposed to so many wonderful choreographers and students from around the globe.